Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel Eon Journeys. Today I wanted to share with you a very profound experience that I had very early on delving into this tarot journey and doing the exercises that are in the Tarot 101 book. This is the book that I'm using, Tarot 101. I came across it through a video on YouTube that was done by OurMoon513 or 513. She's got great videos, she's got great reviews. Also, the Four Queens YouTube channel recommended this book. It's a wonderful book for beginners and for people that are advanced or have years of experience. I do love it. It's a great exercise. But yeah, I was following the exercises, and at the end of chapter 1, there's additional homework at the end of each chapter. So at the end of chapter 1, Kim Hudgens, the author, asks you to sort of look at your deck and pick out one or two favorite cards or cards that you like and resonate with, and see if you can find the symbolism in those cards. The deck that I'm using for the purposes of my studies is, excuse the plane. The deck that I'm using is the DruidCraft Tarot by Phillip and Stephanie Carr-Gomm. I had to purchase this deck twice because I don't think that the publisher did a very good job with the quality of the cards. I purchased this deck twice, so this is just the deck with the little white book, and I also purchased the kit that comes with a big book. In both of them, either a card was missing, or there were double ups, or the backs of the cards weren't printed properly, so I was quite disappointed. But I actually do love this this deck quite a lot, also because it has a lot of pagan and druid symbolism that I can relate to. But yeah, anyways, I'll be using this deck for the purposes of my studies. I do have a Rider-Waite-Smith deck that was gifted to me. That was the first deck I ever had by my mother. I used to use that deck. I find that the colors a bit too harsh, although I do love the pictures and I love the symbolism in it. Obviously, this deck is a Rider-Waite-Smith clone, pretty much. I don't know, at the moment I had to put the Rider-Waite-Smith aside. So yeah, I took the deck for the purposes of the exercise that was described in the book, just the whole deck. I trimmed them, by the way, so they look a bit smaller than they actually are. I didn't like the white borders around it. And all I did was I kind of went, oh, well, I don't know which card to pick, so I went, oh, I like this card, I don't like this card, like this card, don't like this card's a maybe. And I did that with the entire deck. And then I narrowed it down to the pile that I liked, and I did the same thing again. And at the end, I couldn't just pick one or two cards, of course. I have to make it difficult on myself. So I ended up picking 3 cards. And then, we just had to write down whatever symbolism we found within those cards. That was it. Nothing more, nothing less. So the 3 cards that I picked are the Magician. This is my birth card, so I tend to generally like this card in almost any deck, but I do particularly like this card in this deck. You probably can't see it, but on his belt he's got a circle that has a square, that has a triangle in it. Well, it doesn't have a dot in here, but anyway, that symbol really takes me back to a trip that I took to Peru that really changed my life. It was a very uplifting trip. It's a trip that I'll never forget, and obviously the Magician is standing in Stonehenge, but the stone arrangement around him also reminded me of that. So I like this card, right? The second card that I picked was the Hanged Man. I love this depiction of the Hangman, obviously because he looks like he's got the oak. Sorry, he's got the oak leaves growing out of his mouth, which reminds me of the Green Man, and obviously the myth of Odin. I love runes. I've always had runes since I was a child around me. So this, excuse the nudity, by the way. So this image really, I just love this image. Also, his pose, which is similar in many other decks. The tree pose, I guess, in yoga. I love standing in that pose for some reason. I find it very comfortable to stand in. And also, there's some blackberries down the bottom here, which also reminded me of my childhood. So I went, I like this card. The third card that I picked, for no particular reason other than the colors that are in it, is the Eight of Cups. I'll just let this plane go by. I love the colors of the sky. I think this is just beautiful. The eclipse and all the purples and the guy's robe. And again, for some reason, this river and these steps that this person is climbing reminded me of that trip to Peru that really made a difference on the way that I approach my spirituality. I had a very deep meditation there, and it just changed my life and blew my mind. It was amazing. But yeah, so this again reminded me I liked this card. So I wrote down the symbols that I liked, and I left it for the day. I came back a couple of days later to do the next bit, to start the next chapter. In the next chapter, exercise 2.2 of Tarot 101 by Kim Hudgens, she asks you to go back to those cards that you picked and look at them again, and then sort of find what the symbols actually mean, and you know if you were right in what you thought. Pretty sure that's what she says. But anyway, I laid the 3 cards in front of me, right, and I was looking at them. And I like them. They're pretty cards. I picked them. But then they started speaking to me, and these 3 seemingly random cards that I picked, for no particular reason, all of a sudden turned into a spread. It wasn't a mind, body, and soul spread or a past, present, future spread. It was just a completely intuitive spread. So the first thing I noticed, before I noticed that this was actually a spread, was the 1. So this is, like I said, my birth card, and the number 1. And then this card, the Hangman, is number 12, which is the day of my birth. And then this is the 8 of Cups. I was born in the 80s. So all of a sudden, these 3 cards kind of became personal, and they became something that I started relating to, more than just the pretty picture and the symbolism and the personal symbolism that these cards brought to me. So I started looking into how these cards are talking to one another and to me. And what I noticed is that these 3 cards are actually showing me the first step in this journey that, you know, I'm going on, this tarot journey, this journey of self-exploration and self-discovery. I'll be glancing over it every now and then because I have some notes from my journal. The Magician. So the Magician, like I said, he's got this symbol on his belt that reminded me of my trip, and this Stonehenge figure that reminded me of Peru. But the reason why he's standing in Stonehenge is because he's got all the tools in front of him to travel between these 2 worlds and to really make his own world by gaining the knowledge from the other world and coming into this world and melding the two. And really bringing together these two worlds. He's got the potential, he's got the knowledge, he's got everything in front of him. He's ready to make a conscious decision to create change, to make this change happen around him. The second card was the Hanged Man. And this card spoke to me on a personal level, like I said, because he reminded me of the Green Man. But at the same time that I'm embarking on this tarot journey, I'm also embarking on my spiritual Wiccan and pagan journey, which, again, I used to undertake when I was a kid, and then, you know, life happened and I stepped away from it, and now I'm finding that I need to step back. But this card told me that, you know, like the story of Odin, when, you know, he hung on the tree and got the knowledge of the runes, I need to let go of whatever is holding me back, or whatever is keeping me away from the knowledge that I seek. I have the tools to be on this journey. I have the potential to be on this journey and make this journey really work for me, but I need to let go of, you know, all my hang-ups about it. And most of those hang-ups that I have, and what I'm saying now will tie in with the next card, the hang-ups that I have are mostly, you know, the hang-ups of, well, I can't do it, or, you know, this is too difficult, or I'm not good enough, and I'm treating it as if it's a competition, or as if it's, you know, I have to finish these studies by a certain date, or otherwise what's the point? And you know, I guess I keep forgetting that this is a personal journey. And also that if I want this journey to succeed, sometimes I may need to sacrifice some of these materialistic things that, you know, some of us cling to. And materialistic things, you know, maybe I don't need to go out and drink with my friends and party if I want to study or do something the next day. You know, maybe this is a reminder to sacrifice those things if I want to really awaken something within me and learn from my journey. The last card is the Eight of Cups. And this card really reinforces this letting go and this moving away to something new, to this eclipse, to this awakening. And again, because it took me back to my personal trip in Peru, these steps, because there's a lot of steps in Peru, you know, if I want to get up the top to where I want to be spiritually, I need to let go of all these things, whether they're hang-ups or emotions or, you know, things that I disagree with. But I need to make this journey. I need to leave some things behind in order to come up at the top, in order, you know, to really, I guess, awaken something within me, and you know, be this magician that I want to be, this person that makes a change in my life. And the only person that will make a change in my life is me. So these cards really spoke to me as a first spread that I didn't expect to come up. Just an exercise that I did, and all of a sudden, you know, something clicked in my head and I went, this means something. And this is a really important message for me at this time as I embark on this journey. So, you know, my message to you from this is there are stories in every spread, and even while you're studying, if you're not actively doing a spread, you're doing a spread, because look at those cards. They might have something to tell you. I was doing this right before I went to bed, and it completely blew my mind, and I was on such a high the next day. Like, everything just freaking made sense. It was phenomenal. I loved it. I'd love to hear your comments and what you think of my little, I don't know, profound moment with my cards. And tell me if you had something similar. If you were studying and you came across something that just completely blew your mind, I'd love to hear about it. Thank you.